Welcome to Overcome Yourself, the podcast, where we rewrite stories, shift mindsets, and make dreams come true. I'm your host, Nicole Tuxbury. Let's get into today's episode. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. As you know, my name is Nicole, and I'm so excited to be here today with Tracey. Now, Tracey is an author, and she's got a lot going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you, Tracey. I can't wait to hear more about your book, but please let us know a little bit about who you are and who you help.
Sure. First, thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm excited to be here. I am an intuitive life coach, a speaker, author, like as you said, and a host of the podcast, the Tracey Napier podcast, conveniently named. I, so who I help is women, primarily women, and I help women, two different types of women, really. Those who feel like their physical challenges are holding them back in life, and those who are feeling like they are just stuck and not sure what to do, and maybe they're unhappy in their job is primarily what who I help. They're unhappy in their job, unhappy in their life in general, and I can help guide them using the framework of my book to a much better life.
That is amazing. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you ended up doing this, like speaking and being an author and helping women, because I know there's got to be a good story there.
Yes. So I have a cleft palate and cleft lip, and the cleft palate creates challenges with my speaking voice. And I have always let it hold me back. I have been really shy, especially as a child. I was extremely shy, and into my adulthood, and have always been insecure about it. And I thought, well, it's my voice. I can't change my voice, so I'm always just going to be limited. I'm never going to be able to feel like I fit in with people because people have a hard time hearing me and understanding me. And I thought, this is just my life. It is what it is. It sucks, right? And I had this, victim mindset, really. And it was fast forward, it's a really long story, but fast forward to my corporate life, I was miserable in my job, and I was in the mortgage industry for 26 years, and I learned a lot. It was great for me, but it just became so misaligned, and I was so miserable. And I kept praying to God, like, God, when are you going to change my life? I've been praying and, just waiting for the right people, the right opportunity to come into my life. Like, what do I need to do? And finally, God answered my prayers. He closed that door and I got laid off my job in December of 2022. But it was God saying, okay, I will close that door and open a new one for you, but I'm not just going to hand you a good life. You have to take initiative and step into your power and learn how to create the life that you want. And, this is in hindsight. At the time, I thought, yeah, God is opening a door for me. I'm going to walk through. And it took a while. It was over the course of about a year, I started becoming really intuitive, really psychic. And I had been guided to write a book and to speak, use my voice, create a podcast, use my voice however way I could. And I thought, oh no, I'm not used to doing that. And so I decided to write the book. I started writing, and not long after I started writing the book, I heard and simultaneously saw the words get changed, how to become the master of your own life. And I knew that was supposed to be the topic and title of my book. And I thought, oh no. I was recently unemployed. So, like, I'm unemployed. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And you want me to write a book on mastery life? Like, you have the wrong person. And I don't even use that term. Like, who says mastery life? Like, I don't know. It's foreign to me. But I went with it and I wrote this book. And it's a small self-help book on how to step into your power and create the life that you want. And it was really as much for me as it was for the readers. It was me learning how to step into my power and create the life that I want.
That is amazing.
Ah,
And now you're doing it. Now you're talking the talk and you're walking the walk.
yes, it's terrifying. You know, it's funny because I secretly love to be the center of attention, if you will. Like, I want to have the spotlight on me, but my inner child's like, no, 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 no. Not gonna happen. Putting her foot down. And so I have all this, fear inside me when I speak and use my voice. But it's a matter of doing it anyway, So I'm pushing forward. I'm doing podcast interviews. I started my own podcast and recently started interviewing guests on that podcast. And I am doing videos, short videos on social media. I'm writing poetry, which I love. And so, getting my voice out there is not just my physical voice, but it's through writing too. And so I'm putting myself out there as hard and challenging as it is.
I bet. But you're being vulnerable, and being vulnerable, especially like Brene Brown says, especially in today's age, is it's brave. It's a very scary thing to do. But it's the humanity that connects us, right? Just because you're doing it and you're inspiring someone else. Well, if she can do it, I can do it too. And so I just want to commend you for that because that is brave. And I'm sure your inner child is scared. I think we can all relate to that. But you're showing her that it's okay, that it's safe, and that it's important, right? Just using your voice in different formats as well, because like you mentioned, writing is just another way that we can use our voice.
Yeah.
And you sound beautiful, you look beautiful, so I just want to tell you that as well. So
No, I wanted to say thank you for bringing up the vulnerability piece because
Mhm.
I have been told now in my adult life that I need to be more vulnerable. In fact, I had a best friend, and we were glued at the hip for a few years, and she ended up just walking away from me. Like, she never
Mhm.
responded to my text messages. Like, I knew I didn't do anything wrong, so I couldn't figure out why. And long story short, a few years later, I ran into her. We ended up working together again. And I said, can we go out to dinner? Like, I need to figure out, like, what happened. And so she finally told me it was because I wasn't being vulnerable with her. And she was offended because we were supposed to be best friends and she felt like I couldn't open up with her. And I thought, oh, really? Like, I felt like I was an open book and, it certainly wasn't intentional. And so thank you for saying that I'm being vulnerable because, I always felt like I was. And so now I'm still kind of, I think, struggling with, well, am I being vulnerable enough or am I not?
Oh, that's interesting. And it's interesting because it would have been vulnerable to say that to you, and then it didn't happen. So that's interesting dynamic there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
a hard lesson learned.
Hmm.
But now I'm, trying to be more mindful of what I share and being more open and speak from my heart. And I think
Yeah.
for me, at least, that is really what vulnerability is speaking from my heart, and I'm learning to do that. And so it's, I'm a work in progress.
Of course, we all are, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. But it's been a
Yeah.
great journey. And so if you don't mind, I wanted to share really quick about
Yes.
how I kind of started making this shift into not being as afraid to use my voice.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yeah, and so it's been a gradual process and it's still ongoing, of course. But like I said, I always thought my voice was going to hold me back. And after my mom passed away in 2018, I was grieving, significantly. And long story short, it really prompted me to start a spiritual practice. That's when I really started getting into spirituality and wanting to learn more about God and connecting with God. And I went to church for a while and then I started shifting to more spiritual versus religious and trying different things. But in this process, I started becoming more self aware and started digging into my belief system. And once I started digging into my belief system, I realized that it was never my voice that held me back. It was my thoughts and beliefs about it that did. And that's what really changed everything for me. And uh, around this time, I joined Toastmasters. And I realized how much I loved speaking. I loved giving speeches. And I asked myself, why do I love it so much? And I realized that it was because I felt heard for the first time. People
Oh.
were quiet, they were paying attention to me. Whether they were checked out, I don't know. But I felt heard for the first time and I loved it. So those are really what transformed my beliefs and my approach about my voice and started helping me become more comfortable using it. And, like I said, it's an ongoing journey. And sometimes I'm more confident than others, but other times I'm a terrified little girl. And it's a matter of, like you said, doing it anyway and proving to my inner child that it's safe.
I love that. When you talk about your thoughts, one of the things that I talk about in my book that we talk about on the podcast all the time, um, and I use it in terms of perspective,
Mhm.
right? Like adjusting your perspective on a situation. So I think
Mhm.
it goes in line with the thoughts, right? Because our thoughts direct the story, which directs our perception of things. But I want to know, in your journey, what role has gratitude played along the way?
Oh, immensely. It's funny because I went to a crystal shop one time and I think it was a Reiki share. I'm a Reiki practitioner and I think I went there for a Reiki share that day. And the shop owner said, and she's highly psychic intuitive, and she said, I have this book over here called The Magic by Rhonda Burns, and I think you should read it. And so I read that book, and then I read the Louise Hay book. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. You can heal your life. There's another one. Anyway, I forgot now. It's about gratitude. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, but those books really opened me up to the gratitude practice. And every day now I am practicing gratitude. I feel like I'm constantly expressing gratitude to God, to the universe, my angels, guides. And I pray before every meal and I express gratitude then. I express gratitude when I wake up in the morning before I go to bed. And it has been profound. And when I am truly expressing gratitude from my heart and I feel it with every ounce of my being, it takes away the fear that I have. I notice. So I'm learning to really try and be in that state all the time or as much as possible. So it's really helpful. So,
I love that.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it doesn't coexist with fear, right? And
Right,
so when you start focusing on it, the fear has to go somewhere. Like you got to go somewhere else because I'm being grateful right now.
right, yeah.
I love
And
that.
it's amazing how that works.
Yes. So did that gratitude practice play a part in that perspective change that you were talking about as far as your thoughts and things?
Yeah, I think it did because, during this journey, so many things happened. I was experimenting with different practices and things. And around that same time, I had went to a psychic reader, had a psychic reading, and she introduced me to angel numbers. And she was like, your angels are trying to communicate with you through numbers. And I realized after I got off the call that I had been seeing the number 808 for about 2 years. And it was to the point, there was a song in like the 80s or 90s. I forgot the name of it now, but I was seeing that in my head, like 808, and I laughed because I was seeing 808 so much. I didn't know, I had never heard of angel numbers. But once I started connecting with angels through angel numbers, oracle cards, that really helped me with my gratitude practice too, because I became so grateful for the guidance. And so it just kind of evolved into feeling grateful for everything that I have, even the voice that I don't love. I'm grateful there's a gift in it. It's my gift. It's my superpower. And, it's challenging. It doesn't make it less challenging, but it's what I'm here to learn and do. Is like to our souls are here to learn and grow. And the lesson for me is to embrace spiritual growth, embrace myself and love myself wholeheartedly as I am, and learn how to use my voice and be confident despite the challenges I face. And so these spiritual practices and personal growth practices have been tremendously helpful, and now I am encouraging others to embrace them as well because they're powerful.
Yeah, I love that. In my book, I talked about learning to find the superpower in what I thought was my weakness.
Oh, yeah,
And I think you might be a great testament to that.
yeah,
And one of the things about superheroes, like one of the things that we know, like, the basic story is when someone finds out that they have a superpower, they don't just go out and use it. They have to learn how to use it and they have to decide to use it for good, right?
yeah,
Like that's like the origin story. Is like, how do I take this and where am I going to apply this power?
right.
And so you took what you thought might have been your weakness and you turned it into your superpower and you direct that energy, and you get to help others using what's most you, right? Like it's yours.
Yeah,
So I love that so
yeah,
much.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I love your analogy in your book. That sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Ah,
Now, what about your book? Can you tell us a little bit? I know you mentioned the framework, so can you tell us a little bit more about your book and
yeah.
the transformation that happens upon reading your book?
Yeah. So, like I said, it's called Get Changed: How to Become the Master of Your Own Life. And, I think a lot of people, including myself at first, didn't really understand what master your life means. I think a lot of us think, oh, does anyone really master their life? Does anyone have this perfect life without any challenges? And you think, no, that's not what it's about. Mastering your life is learning to, continuously evolve and grow your personal growth journey and taking control of your thoughts and your life and making it what you want. And it's learning to persevere through challenges and just learning to grow and evolve. And so my book, after I had received the title of the book, a couple of months later, I heard 7 steps to master your life. And so I knew there were 7 steps. And so those 7 steps are: eliminate bad habits, get out of your comfort zone, get to know yourself, nurture your health, change your thoughts, develop a spiritual practice, and step into your power. And my book is, people have told me it's kind of a lighthearted self-help book, and I use a lot of metaphors. It's only about 100 pages. It's a light read, but I call it small but mighty. And there's a lot of metaphors. I share a lot of stories. I feel like stories connect us and make the concepts easier to understand. So I do have a
Mhm.
lot of stories in there. And it's really about taking the time to become self aware and doing small little micro actions to change your life and to learn and grow and make life what you want. And at the end of the chapter, I ended up writing it from beginning to end. And when I got to chapter 7, I knew Step Into Your Power was going to be the last chapter. And I realized as I was writing that last chapter, I thought, oh, this whole book has been about stepping into your power. And I kind of had an epiphany. And so I kind of outlined how each chapter is about stepping into your power.
Mhm.
And so that's really what it's about, is learning about yourself and going within and growing and taking little action steps to create the life that you want. So
I
that's
love that. So many parallels with my book as well. Um, one of the things that I really got to understand was, like you said, the micro actions, but what
Mhm.
are those tiny little things that you're doing every day? Because those things add up. Um, yes, there was else. I don't remember. It left
Yeah,
me.
I
It
was just
went
saying,
away like
the
a little
connecting.
bird.
I know I do that too. But connecting for me, I know like little actions every day that I take are really my spiritual practice. I connect with my angels and guides, and gratitude practice like we talked about. But meditation, I connect with my angels and guides through meditation and breath work and my dreams. I get so many dreams and visions. Obviously that's when we're most open and more receptive, and I receive so much wonderful information and guidance in that state. And so I connect that way. And then I do little things like move my body and honor my body. Of course, I'm not perfect at it. I overindulge sometimes with my body. But I honor my needs and do little things like journal and just be consistent in taking action every day to do something to learn and grow.
And what I was gonna say is that the actions are all very like I don't want to downplay them because they're very important, but
Mhm.
they're very basic things that we don't need a lot of time and we don't need to invest a lot of money into doing them. So this is
Exactly.
kind of like the foundation, the basics, and I think that's so important. That's something that I wanted to focus on in my book. I didn't want to be, talking about like go to the gym and buy this and buy that because it's not about any of those things. It's about what can I do, the human things. What are the human things? Like I need to drink water. It could come from the faucet. Doesn't matter.
Right.
But you got to get some water. You got to move your body. Like I count 10,000 steps, but maybe you don't want to walk around. Maybe you like to dance. Maybe you want to lift some weights if you can't, there's days that I can't walk and you know what? You could still move, right? Like you can still do
Right.
something. And get your blood pumping. I follow a girl who does sitting cardio. So she
Ah,
just gets her body moving, and if you're doing that for 30 minutes and you're doing all the exercises, your blood rate goes up, and that's what's important, right?
yeah.
Versus getting like an outfit and putting on like expensive shoes and going to the gym and taking pictures on machines and then leaving.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I just wanted to commend you for that as well because it's just they're just like the basic human foundational things that we've got to focus on, like paying attention to your habits. You don't
Mm-hmm.
even have to write it down. Like you could just be like, oh, you know what? I do this every day and it's probably not great. What can I do instead?
Right.
So yeah, I love all the things you mentioned. I was like, we're gonna have to exchange books and
Yeah,
and read each
absolutely.
other's books. Because
Really.
they are, I feel like they're just very in alignment.
Yeah.
Um, but what I want to know is how can the audience stay in touch with you? Like, speaking of your book, how can we find out more about you and where we can check it out?
Sure, yeah. The best way to connect with me is through my website. I have a link to my book there, and you can get to know me a little bit through there. But I also have all of my social links on my website too, so you can connect there if you want to follow me on social media. I'm really active on TikTok and YouTube and LinkedIn. But I am also on Facebook, not as much on Instagram though.
Okay, I feel that. Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, that is amazing. And all of those links will be available down in the show notes. And now before we sign off, I'd like to know, what's like your biggest, best tip, the best advice you have, like the one that's worth all the money that your clients pay you.
Oh, I have lots of advice. I would say becoming self-aware is
Mhm.
critical in your journey because you can't change what you're not aware of. And so that's really the foundation of any personal growth journey. Become self-aware. And then, of course, be compassionate with yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Being honest with yourself. It starts with you.
That too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. So being able to see yourself and just be honest.
Yeah.
Nothing changed in my life until I realized that the problem was me. And I was like, okay, it's
Right.
me. It's not everybody
Yes.
else. It's me. I gotta
Exactly.
fix this. So yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
Um, and not really something that anyone can tell you, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that one's a very well learned one. But if you can listen to this and you can be like, you know what, the problem is me, great. Sometimes it takes getting to rock bottom and we find ourselves there and you're like, ugh. So we want to save you from that. So hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But okay, this has been an amazing episode, Tracy. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will catch you guys next time on the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Bye. Thanks again for tuning in to Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Stay bold, stay grateful, and keep becoming your best you. For more information and resources from me, Nicole, head over to nicoletexberry.com/resources. See you next time.